Hello, Steve Mills here, and it's great to be back sharing with you some more tried, tested and proven ideas and ways in which you can grow your business. Now, the subject of my podcast today is very simply that you cannot spend too much money on marketing, and you can't spend too much time on marketing. Now, okay, I understand you may be thinking, well, I'm sure you could, Steve, and I just believe that what I'm talking about today is really, really important to you and your business. So please, if you're listening live, then bear with me, and I will explain. The truth of the matter is, you can't spend too much on marketing, providing one key thing, and that is that the marketing that you're spending money on is working. If I spend £1 on marketing, and every time I do, that brings me back £10, how often would I like to spend £1 is a really important question. And for me, I'd like to spend £1 1 million times a day. Wouldn't you? If you knew that every marketing pound you spent brought you back 10 million, that's assuming you've got over a 10% profit in your business, then, you'd want to do that every single day. The problem being that a lot of marketing, certainly marketing in small business, doesn't actually work. And those of you familiar with my podcast will have heard me talking about things like the biggest problem with small business is obscurity and not being known to your market, people not actually knowing about you. And that is really one of the keys to it. So, if you're really dedicated to your business, you're dedicated to growing your business, and you want to take action to do so, then, you've got to uncover the key. It's like unlocking the door, it's a little bit... it doesn't happen the first time. People often come to me and they'll say things like, well, I want to do advertising, Steve, and I think I'd like to try Facebook pay-per-click advertising. What do you think? And I'll say, well, the fact is that may work for you. It may be a great idea, and it's certainly something that, is very, very popular right now. And so what we need to think about is how we undertake Facebook advertising in a way that is profitable. Because, let's face it, it's a little bit like, riding a bike. I get on my bike, I'm, 7 years old or whatever, and I fall off. So what do? Do I decide, actually, I'm never going to ride a bike and I won't do that? Or do I try again? And what happens if I fall off again? Well, I'm going to try again until I find what works. Tony Robbins always says the secret of success is knowing what you want, taking action, noticing whether it's working or not, changing your approach if it's not working, and importantly, role modeling somebody who's already successful. Find somebody who's got what you want or have done what you want to do, and do the same things, you get the same or similar results. And yet I see all the time businesses, setting up on something. They'll set up on Facebook, pay-per-click advertising, give it a try for a few weeks. It doesn't work, and then they stop advertising and go and find something else that equally doesn't work. And the truth of the matter is, like anything, if you're going to be good at anything in life, you've got to stick at it. I used to play table tennis at international level. Many of you know that. And one of the players that played along with me was a young guy from Reading called Matthew Syed. Some of you may know Matthew. I think he's the Times' #1 sports reporter right now. Obviously, he's retired from table tennis, and he's a reporter and he's on TV sometimes commentating on sport and so on. But he wrote a great book, and the book is called Bounce. And it's based on table tennis, but it's not really about table tennis. It's about how do you become an expert at anything. It doesn't really matter whether that's table tennis or football or marketing or sales or running a business or, in a relationship. It takes time. It takes time and practice. And Matthew said, yes, his book is based actually on his thesis at Oxford, I believe. And that was all about, is it about talent? Was Michael Jackson lucky to be so talented? Or is it about hard work? Michael Jackson, virtually didn't have a childhood because his father, and rest of the family pushed him to practice, hours and hours and hours a day, every day since he was about 4. What's the reason behind it? And Matthew's basically analysis of it is really, it's about practice, but you got to have some talent as well, so it's about both those things. And so the biggest question is then, if it's about talent, if we're going back to my analogy of Facebook, if we're doing Facebook advertising, we've got to have some talent, we've got to have some understanding, we've got to have a commitment. But really what it's about is about practice. And that's what you need to do. You need to practice, but you don't want to be practicing spending hundreds of thousands or millions of pounds. You want to practice, or test as I call it, using a small amount of money. The 3 most important things in marketing, I believe anyway, are testing, testing and testing. Just like when you move house, the 3 most important things are location, location, location. So test to try to improve. So you set up your Facebook ad, you have a look over the next couple of weeks, see how it's going. If it's not going well, which often it doesn't on the first try, you don't get things perfect the first time. And so the second time, you do things like change the headline, change the words, perhaps you change the target market, or you look at the landing page, you change the headline, you change the video, you change the words, you change the call to action, you change the offer, perhaps you offer something free, an initial trial or something like that. And all the time, you're testing in order to try to improve the effectiveness of something that you're already doing. Now, I hope that makes sense to you, because for me, it is total sense, and yet it's the one thing I find small businesses don't do. They try something, they give it a try for a few weeks, or perhaps a couple of months, and then they go off and behave like butterflies, trying one thing, then another thing, then another thing. And then at some point they realize marketing is a waste of time, and it's basically not worth doing, and I'm going to sit back, win very little business from word of mouth, without a system, and just earn enough for the rest of my life to earn a living without really designing a life or building a business. Now, I'm saying that because I'm really hoping that, you're going to take action, and you're not going to do that. You're going to, start moving forward, looking at what you're doing. As I said, right at the beginning, the subject of this podcast was you cannot spend too much money on marketing. Just spend money, spend time on marketing, but do so in a professional manner by testing, building, changing, improving, testing, building, and so on and so forth. So that's about it for the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's given you some food for thought, and really deep down, I hope it's going to encourage you to take some action in order to improve your business. If you want any help from us, we can do 3 things for you. We can train you further in what to do. We can advise and mentor you and coach you, if you will. Anybody who's going to be good at anything needs a coach, I believe. Or we offer a outsourced marketing service where we call it Done For You, and we can do it for you. So either way, give us a call. Our website is stevemills.co. That's www.stevemills.co. Or our telephone number is 01256 242 272. Thanks very much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you again on my podcast in the very near future. Thank you.